Welcome back to our channel. I'm Rawan.
And I'm Sayed.
And today we're gonna discuss
About what are the moving expenses or moving in general will look like if you were to move from Pakistan to Egypt.
exactly, and this video is actually inspired from this comment. So thank you for inspiring us for this video, and hopefully this video is gonna be very helpful for you.
Before we begin the video, I just want to give you a quick overview.
Yeah.
I'm Pakistani by birth. I lived in Egypt for about 5 or so months. She's Egyptian by birth and she has lived in Pakistan for about 4 to 5 months as well.
So today's topic will be us discussing what is the cost that you will need, or what is the expenses that it's gonna be required from you if you wanna move and live in Egypt. First thing first, before we move to the actual numbers, I just want to say that Egypt is such a safe place, and if you're Pakistani and you decided to move to Egypt, you will feel like you're home, but it's a little bit better. And we have an example here. He's a Pakistani and he lives in Egypt, and he can tell us a little bit about his feeling.
So someone who has been to Pakistan and lived in Pakistan whole life, I feel like Egypt is a little bit of a better version of Pakistan when it comes to safety, when it comes to roads, when it comes to just overall environment. The only thing you will realize that Egypt is just more towards sand or desert type of area. Same thing with the buildings. More of like a yellowish kind of vibe. But when you come to Pakistan, of course you'll see a lot of trees and greenery throughout the country. But we travel all across Egypt, and I've sort of seen the same sort of vibe all across Egypt.
Yeah, true, I agree. So for the first point that we're gonna cover in this video is what is the average expenses that's gonna be required from you as a couple living in Egypt. From my perspective, for you to have a good life without worrying about anything, is gonna be from 15k to 20k, and that's gonna be included rent and grocery and pulling everything. Just like overall living, that is gonna be the average cost.
And if you wanna just know about the one person cost, I think just divide that by 2.
Yeah, by 2. That will
should be pretty much simple.
So in this topic, I'm gonna cover 2 things. One is the rent. Second, what if you wanna, for example, like own a house in Egypt? So rent is a bigger factor from your salary or like the expenses in Egypt, because it's really depend. Like I can tell you, it could be like 6k, or it could be 10k, it could be 20k. It just depend on where you want to live.
So when she's saying 20k, 10k, I just want to give you an idea. It's Egyptian pounds. We're not talking about dollars or Pakistani rupees. Strictly discussing the Egyptian pounds at the moment. We actually have a property in Egypt. The rent of that property is 2k. Because this is what we are renting out for the neighborhood, but it can go up to 10k if you're in actually decent surrounding. But if you go all the way to, for example, C and all that, then it'll become even more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. And here I just want to clarify that the average rent for you to be like having a good surrounding, it's gonna start from 5k to 6k to 10k. That's gonna be like the average one. It's not like the greatest, not the lowest.
Yeah.
And the second option, which is I prefer if me owning a house, so I don't have to worry much about the rent. And here there's 2 options. Like the first option that everyone go to just look for any house that and selling right now, and you can buy it, or you can go to the government programs, and this is what I recommended, and it's a very huge sector that we can do like a separate video for it to discuss it, because now government is trying to expand in the desert, so there's a lot of new building now it's happening in Egypt, and government offered that with a cheaper price, or to just help the new generation like me and him, like, you know, people are just wanting to go into a marriage, so they're offering them like a cheaper programs. You can look into that. You can find something very cheap to own a house, so you don't have to worry about renting or anything like that.
All right, so the next point is government subsidies. Now this point is actually for people who are Egyptian. Now, if you're not Egyptian and looking at this, and you're probably thinking, I want to move to Egypt because I'm not Egyptian, then for that, you would probably need to have some sort of connections, either someone who is Egyptian, or if you're marrying someone who's Egyptian.
Yeah.
Both of those cases is possible and easily accessible for you in Egypt. But this point is valid just for people who are Egypt and you have connection to those, and you can use those connections to sort of get those government subsidies that we're just going to talk about.
So the reason for me pointing this point here is that because of the comment that inspired us to do that video, he wanna move to Egypt, and they are a couple, and of course in the future they're gonna have kids. So just wanna, you know, like assure them in the future, whenever like you are expanding your family, you're gonna get like subsidies from the government more as you are expanding. So that's something you don't have to worry about it. And these subsidies is basically like the basic things: flour, rice, oil, and you know, like just the basic things, and the bread. For the bread is not like fully for free, but it's just like a very, very small amount that for £1 you can get like a sturdy piece of bread.
Yeah, this is something I was very shocked to hear.
Yeah, basically like £1 like for the normal pricing like equal to 1 piece, but government like give us 3 pieces for the same amount.
Yeah, exactly. So 3 times what it would cost you to go outside and buy in the market.
Okay, for the next point, which is gonna be the last point, which is transportation in Egypt. So for Egypt, you really don't have to have a car. So we have like a variety of options for you to transport or like to just move around the city, and which is the first one is gonna be subway, which is the easiest one and the fastest one, and the white buses and the like public transportation. And I don't know how to explain white buses for you. Do you have an example to just make it?
Yeah, so white bus is basically an example of highest, is what we call it in Pakistan.
Yeah.
It's like a 14-15 seater, like a long white bus, and that you just sit on. So they, instead of having like big buses that we have in Karachi or Pakistan, they have the smaller ones. They have the big ones too, just as big actually, or even bigger. But there's a smaller ones that are also can do the same job.
And it's very cheap. It takes you to a places that it's really, really cheap. Like if you're gonna pay, for example, like 200 to Uber to just reach that place, you can pay £10 just for the white buses to reach the same place.
So there's a proper structure for them. So basically there's the big buses that will go all across the city, not inside the streets or things of that nature, but all the main road. Then there's white buses that does the sort of the same thing as big bus, but they're a little bit cheaper and a little bit quicker, a little bit easy to access. Then there's rickshaw, which is tuk-tuk in Egypt. And those tuk-tuk does not come onto the main road. They always stay into their neighborhood. So in a neighborhood, in the streets and things of that nature, the tuk-tuk will take you there. One tuk-tuk cannot take you from one place to the other because it has to cross the main roads, and it's not allowed for them. They have to stay into the specific sector, and they don't come into the main highway or main road. Unlike Pakistan, the one tuk-tuk can take you to, I don't know,
tuk-tuk, like I think rickshaw in Pakistan is a proper transportation.
Yeah, literally, you can if you have rickshaw, you can take it to anywhere you want.
In Egypt, like it's a smaller, like in Pakistan, I think it's bigger. You can fit 4 people in there. But in Egypt, it's such a small thing, and it's basically for 2 minutes way. That's it.
Yeah, for 2 to 3 minutes, even 5-10 minutes, depending on where you're going, but it's gonna stay in that sector. It's not gonna go onto the main road.
Yeah, and such in a small places like places that white buses and public transportation cannot reach. That's it. For you to have a transportation, like the average cost, I think 1K is gonna be perfect for both of you if you're not gonna use a lot of taxi or a lot of Uber, because Uber in Egypt is very, very expensive, and we just use it for places that white buses and public transportation cannot reach. But other than that, you cannot use it because it's really expensive, and taxi, of course, it's even more expensive. Okay, at the end of the video, just want to note something. All of what I mentioned right now is just an average cost, but of course you can live in Egypt with 5K, was 4K. My mom used to use 5K for us as like a whole family consists of 5 members, and it was fine. It just like for a certain time of period. So it's okay for you to use less, but I'm just giving you a good life, how to live a good life in Egypt without worrying about like the essential, but worrying about anything. So that's it.
The other thing, I'll give you an example. I see a lot of things that's expensive, very expensive in Pakistan. It's actually very cheap. For example, we got our eye surgery done. So actually it was 5K. So maybe 12K for both and 2 eyes, right? It's a LASIK I'm talking about. But if you go to Karachi or anywhere in Pakistan, the LASIK is going to cost you 1 lakh. It's just crazy, stupid amount of money. So I know in Canadian dollar conversion, so in Canadian dollar, the eyes in total costed at like $300. In Pakistan, it would have same eye surgery for one person. For both eyes, it's probably gonna cost me $1,000.
Oh my god.
Canadian.
Yeah,
it's
actually,
that big of a difference. Now, what it looks like in terms of visa, moving, that's something the process we can talk some other time. But this is basically in a nutshell. If you move to Egypt from Pakistan, these are the things you would face, and these are the benefits that you'll get. That being said, that is all for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. I will see you tomorrow with another video. Till then, take care of yourself and others and of this channel. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.